Hey guys, Coach Nick here with Invictus Fitness along with Coach Bryce. Today we're going to cover a little something we like to call spinal segmentation, keeping you guys' spine healthy. First thing we're going to cover is kind of like a cat-cow, which you guys would normally see in any sort of yoga thing. And what I want you guys to do, so come on in for me. What we're going to start is in this normal yoga pose where Bryce can go to your cat or your cow all the way up. But what we want to see is we want to be able to move every single vertebrae independently. So what I want to see is I'm going to give Bryce a little tactile cue, and I want him to only move where my finger is and be able to pull. So I want him to pull away from my finger right here, pull away from my finger here, slow it down, keep your head down, pull here, pull here, pull here. And if you notice, he's having a hard time once we get up into this area of his thoracic spine of going into extension, right? So now we're going to have him go back the other way. So we're going to start here, and what I want him to do is I want him to push into my finger, but only where my finger is. So push in here, push in here, push here, pause. Now I want you guys to kind of watch here and then watch the compensation patterns to the other stuff as well. So push here, good, push in here, push in here, push here. And then we get all the way to the thoracic spine, then we'll go ahead and let the cervical drop as well. Now we're going to go one more rewind here. So we're going to start here again. So try to pull and only here, really fight Bryce, not to pull anything else, but only where my finger is. So pull away from my finger. Pull away, keep all this tight, keep the head down. Pull here. Good, pull here. Pull here. Pull here, keep the head down, pull here. You guys also want to be aware of where the scapula is, making sure we're not compensating for scapular depression and retraction for our spinal extension. And we're going to have him go one more time up. So push, yep, pushing my finger here, pushing my finger here, pushing my finger here, here, good. And he's getting a little bit better every time we go. So, and then all the way down, and let him rest. Okay, so what we saw, pause right here. So what we saw is he has a hard time going into extension through this thoracic spine. So now what I want to teach you guys is how to kind of create an area to be able to work on this and create extension and flexion, actually segment that spine where we actually have a block. So what we're going to do, depending on how comfortable you guys are with your spine, we're going to use a little marker, a thicker marker, or you guys can go all the way up to a tennis ball. And where Bryce was, so Bryce, will you flip around for me? So what we want is I'm going to have Bryce lay on the ground, and we're actually going to place this on his spine where that hinge point was, where he's not getting any movement at, okay? So I'm going to have Bryce lay on the ground, back down. Now come on in for me. Come on this side, if you can bring it on this side. So Bryce, lay on this side, roll over for me. So this is where the area was. This is where I'm going to place the marker, or if I was using a tennis ball, we're going to put this in the same area, right? But make sure you guys are aware of, if you weren't used to using this, the tennis ball isn't where you guys want to start. You're going to want to start with a marker or maybe even a smaller Sharpie, okay? So we're going to identify where that pinch point is. So now I'm going to have Bryce lay back over like this, where he's on that. Now I want him to have as much pressure on there as he can. So what I want him to do is I'm going to have him kind of hug his elbows together, okay? And what I want him to do is kind of go into like a hollow body position. He's going to treat the marker like a scale. And what I want him to do is I want him to kind of push everything else on the ground. So he's going to come in here, push his lower back on the ground. Abs are going to be engaged, and he's trying to put as much pressure. He's trying to push that marker through the ground. And he's going to breathe into it. So we're actually making him go into flexion right here on the marker, and he's actually getting some awareness of like, where is that space at? Where does he need to create space at in his spine? So he's breathing in, and I'm going to have him hold here for about 30 seconds where he's breathing. Now, here gets the tricky part. When I tell him to pull away, he needs to keep everything else, so he's going to keep his head long, his chin tucked, and he's going to try to pull his spine and activate those erectors around where that marker is. So he's built up pressure, he's been there for about 30 seconds. I'm going to have him pull, where he's going to identify trying to pull directly off that marker. Now, it's really hard to see, but you can tell that he's struggling trying to activate only those erectors and making that spine go into extension where that marker is. And I'll have him hold that for about 20 seconds, okay? Go ahead and relax. After he relaxes, I'll have him like breathe three or four times just to kind of down-regulate the system. And I'll have him redo that whole thing 2 or 3 times, depending where it is. If his spine didn't move at all, right? He had like really poor mobility in his lower lumbar or his low spine all the way up to his thoracic or his cervical, I'd have him pick 2 or 3 spots and work on those consistently throughout the week. Then when he's done, we like to tile our work back in. So I'd have him flip back over. We flip back over for me, Bryce. Yep, come back around. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to have him redo the same thing just to kind of tie in our work. We did a lot of work for like our brain trying to figure out how we're trying to move this. And then what I want him to do is I'm going to have him go all the way to the cat pose, right? And we'll do the same thing. Pull down, follow the finger. And if you come in a little bit, come in. And so we want to pay attention to this. So keep pulling. Follow the finger, Bryce. Follow the finger. Pull, 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 pull away, pull away, pull away. Pull. Good. And then really try to pull right here. And if you notice, he gets a little more extension right there. Keep coming, keep coming. Head comes all the way up. Good. And then if this was my actual client, I'd have him actually do that 3 to 5 more times, or give them a time limit like 2 minutes, where they're actually just creating motion through that area. Go ahead and relax. So I'd like you guys to start playing with that. You're only as healthy as your spine is. So you guys should really take a lot of effort in making your spine function the way it's supposed to be functioning. If it isn't moving, you're gonna have blocks. Like your spine should move at one vertebrae, kind of like a snake. If you only move in chunks, like lumbar chunk, thoracic chunk, cervical chunk, your spine isn't articulating like it needs to, and you're gonna have a lot of issues. So treat your spine with some love, give it some mobility, and pay attention next couple upcoming weeks. We'll have more spinal hygiene for you guys to kind of pay attention to.